This is the Carty Method Podcast.
Hey, I'm Carty. Welcome to Portfolio Lab. The ROI in photography and the business education that I've paid for, the return on investment, has earned me well over a few $1 million during my 35-year career. I was doing the math this morning. But you got to ask yourself, what's the ROI and ROI means return on investment. What's the ROI of a camera and equipment if you don't also pay for the right training? Zero, actually. Photography becomes the world's most expensive hobby. That's why I'm here. You're already paying me, by the way, whether you think you are or not. You might not be paying me with money, but you're paying me with your time. But you're likely still self-assessing. Time is a non-renewable resource. Money is infinitely renewable. What I do is I spend all my free time investing in myself so I can build the life that I've always dreamed of. I'll happily spend thousands of dollars to unlock hundreds of thousands of dollars. Sadly, I started caring about the business side of photography too late, and I started investing in myself probably about 3.5 decades too late. 3 decades too late. But in the last 5 years, though, since I've started caring about the business side of photography, I've made more money and I've created more great work than I ever thought possible. All because I invested. I invested in myself. I believed in myself. And most importantly, I did the work that I was avoiding my whole life. That's why I'm here. I'm here to help you avoid the mistakes that I made. This is what the whole thing that I'm doing here is about. It's why I built the Carty Method system. Before I had a name, it was the same system that I used to fix my business. Now, it's the system that I use to coach photographers like you from all over the world. Portfolio Lab is just one part of it. This is the developing your work part, the instant feedback loop part. This is the one part that you might be missing. So this is Portfolio Lab. And on Thursdays, I give a very specific assignment. To the pro level viewers who are watching me, people who are here because they are trying to not just make better photos. They're trying to be professional photographers. They're trying to hit $100,000 a year with their camera. That's why I'm here. I'm able to hit $100,000 pretty much every year. It's a problem if we're not hitting 100K. And I built a system to help you do exactly the same thing. Part of my system is Portfolio Lab. And Portfolio Lab, what that does is it actually helps you get to the next level with the work part of your business. Because without your work, you don't have a business to build on. The business of photography is built upon the work that you create. And as mentioned, I've been a pro photographer for 3.5 decades. And if you go to stevecarty.com, you can see the type of work that I make and the celebrities that I shoot, like Colin Firth a week before he won his Oscar, and Pharrell Williams, and all the movie posters and all of this stuff that I shoot. My main portfolio, you'll notice, I don't show any text on my photos. There's no tear sheets per se in my main portfolio. But if you look at work and pull up tear sheets, well, that's when you can see Michael Sheen for Hamlet and all the Porter key art that I shot, and Krista Kim for Vogue Singapore and Say Yes to the Dress, and all the places that my photography goes. I'm not a YouTuber. Don't get it twisted for a second. I'm a photographer first. And I do this channel as a public service because I've always given back to the next generation of photographers. But I got to tell you, I'm only really speaking to 10% of you, because only 10% of you have the courage to have your work critiqued by a professional. Only 10% of you have the gumption to do action, have the gumption to go to thecartymethod.com and sign up for one of my programs. I help photographers become high value pros. And that's what I do. And I've redesigned this photography site, this photography business site, in order to clarify. Every photographer who is trying to start their business needs phase 0. This sets your stage. This is the foundation of everything that I teach here. In order to be a pro photographer, you need to get advice from a pro photographer. And this one thing, phase 0, sets the stage for the Carty method system. I'm so excited about this thing that I've built. And in the coming weeks, you are going to have access to some incredibly cool things that I'm going to be doing on Zoom and with the Carty method. And the only way you're going to be able to access it is by signing up. So if you want to know more about it, please go to thecartymethod.com. Put in your email address if you're not registered with me already, so I can actually start giving you the direct help that you need. You guys excited about today? You excited about Portfolio Lab? Are you excited about this week's assignment? I am. So, hey, Gerard Danso has been a member for a month. Let's go, Gerard. Hey, speaking of becoming members, when people become a member and they do it live while I'm here, you get smoke. I like to do a little light show, which makes you feel the wavy kind of vibe. And Gerard, I'm proud of you for your progress, my guy. I'm proud of you for your progress. Know this, he's been watching for a while, longer than a month, but he's just become a member recently. And you'll notice down here that I have added my member goal. My goal is 1,000 true fans. 1,000 true fans. And how you can tell that you're a true fan, and especially about this content, is that you sign up as a member. You hit the join button so you can get all my content. So you can get all access to me during my live streams, like Nick Johnson, like Courtney, oh my goodness, like Doyle Daniels and Anton, like Gerard, like Robert, like Liza, like Lamont DeSalle, like Big D, like Big T Davis. Like, these people believe in what I'm doing, and they sign up to become members, and they have a crown next to their name in chat. So you got to see what's happening in chat and how absolutely vibes it is in chat. And you got to see, like, not being a member and not paying attention to chat and not being in chat. Hey, Doyle Daniels. Doyle, generous guy, just gifted. Yo, Jordan's up there crying. Michael Jordan's up there crying again, Bo. Doyle Daniels just gifted 5 memberships to the channel. And Doyle, absolutely generous, man. This guy is so generous. He gifts memberships to the channel so constantly. Doyle Daniels, here's your love, bro. Another 5 memberships to the channel, which means Nadia Blake, wherever you are, you just got gifted a membership. Jonathan, YT Ralde, you just got gifted. Eric, you got gifted by Doyle Daniels. Angel Ferrer, you got gifted. And the other thing about my members, and there's one more here who got gifted, one more. The last one was Aaron. You got gifted by Doyle Daniels. Here's the other thing, is that the members of this channel get to control my stream. They get to glitch me. They get to do all this like stuff, which makes it fun for them while they're watching. But also it's fun for you. You know what I mean? Understand that although, yes, I'm giving information and sometimes that information is hard to take, I like to do attention resets. I like to change camera angles, and, you know, I like to drop graphics, and we like to bring up Taylor. Taylor, you crazy bitch. This chick is always up in here, like, you know, giving her expression. So this kind of love is what I give you. I do all of this live. I do all of this live, which, again, if you guys, I get asked from time to time, like, how I do this production, how I set up this, how I make this whole thing work. I get asked all the time. Today I forgot to set up my B camera. But yeah, I can show you. This is OBS. This is the program that I use to stream live. You can see right now that I'm live. There's my chat. So this little multi-dimensional thing is OBS. This is the Elgato prompter where I have chat as well. So I can actually read chat, my show notes, and of course camera control down here. A camera, B camera, and my switcher here, and stream control. Stream control, this is where everything happens, like all those good vibes. This is how everything happens, from the old people watching, which you see them here watching me, to all my camera changes. So that gives you a little bit of a vibe. Camera 2, camera 1, you can see back there, and of course me. Every once in a while I like to share a little behind the scenes. But guys, if you want me to do a video on my office, my desk setup, the ultimate photographer's desk setup, and also the setup that I use for broadcasting, I'm happy to show you. All right. Let's get into this week's assignment. I'm very excited. This week's assignment is very simple. For week 15, I wanted to see your niche on location. Super simple. Your niche, shoot it on location. For a lot of you, you shoot studio a lot. And in order to be a well-rounded photographer, you have to shoot not just in the studio, but you also have to be super strong on location. And if you shoot strong on location, you also have to learn how to light, bro. And if you look, heyo, Robert Myrick, let's go. This is the Carty crew dance, bro. Let's go. Robert, membering up. Let's get it on. Let's just see how smoky we can make this place. Literally, if I don't close the door and the smoke goes into the hallway, it actually sets off my fire alarm. And it's not smoke, it's water vapor. But because it's so thick, it's recognized as smoke. Yeah, Robert, welcome. You've been a member, my guy. Thanks for signing up again. I appreciate you. Our numbers are going up. We're at 177. We're trying to get to 1,000 true members, so true fans. So if you're watching this at home, like, consider becoming a member. Come on. I'm killing myself here for y'all. All right, let's get it on. So this week's assignment, your niche on location. It's super simple. Produce a single image that fuses your unique photography style with a local backdrop, instantly showcasing your niche to a potential client. Super, super simple. Now, whether you shoot people, whether you shoot places, or whether you shoot things, all I wanted you to do is create your type of photography that you do, your niche, and I wanted you to shoot it on location. That's it. Super simple. And I wanted a vertical picture. So when we shoot vertical, what the rules are with vertical is every vertical is a cover. Every vertical that we shoot is a cover. And I just want you to glance at my website. And again, you can go to stevecarty.com at home. But I want you to look at the way that I balance both shots in the studio and shots on location. Shots in the studio, in the studio, in the studio, and shots on location. In the studio, location, location, in studio, location. Like, I blend both and I show both together. Studio, location, studio, studio, location, like I mix natural light, artificial light. Like, I show that I understand this craft and I do it in my style. I show that I understand light. And when you see the way that this type of work is applied, you can see also studio and location when I get hired. You see studio and location when I get hired, and you see the way that I light is used in a commercial application. This is all about practical skill sets and practical understanding. And look how much print I shoot, and yet people think print is dead. Look at how much print I shoot. Are you kidding me? This one job here for this university, this was $53,000. And this is literally 3 days of shooting. So you have to understand, showing your versatility. And within this job, studio photography, location photography, indoor location photography. So print is by far dead. And when you hear me talking about double page spreads, when you hear me talking about shooting covers, when you hear me talking about watching the gutter, it's because print is alive and well, and there is so much money in it for the photographers who understand. You with me? You down? You with me? You feeling it? All right, I'm excited to look at your work today. And by the way, you can join Portfolio Lab easily, and I can look at your work starting next week, Tuesday. All you need to do is go to thecartymethod.com/portfolio lab and sign up. When I talk limited spaces, I mean limited spaces. Once it is full, and the price that it's at right now, how I keep the limited numbers is I continually increase the price and people keep signing up. So then I make it more expensive. So this is limited stuff. Like, you might be watching this and thinking about it, sitting on the fence. Join Portfolio Lab while you still can. Straight as that. All right, guys, let's get into our first submitter. This is Ian Martin. Ian says this: I don't use the natural scenery quite nearby quite often enough. So we took this Mazda out for a local trailhead and embraced the desert landscape. Shot with the Z8, 105mm 2.8, ISO 360, 1/25th of a second. At 2.8, shot natural light. Wide open, wide open. I would consider stopping down a stop and a third from wide open. It's going to be your sharpest aperture. Let's see what Mr. Ian Martin has for me. Ian, thanks for submitting. Ian, right off the top, this is a yes. Right off the top, this is a yes. It's a beautiful sunset. It's a beautiful scene. I wouldn't have minded you getting a little bit lower, you know, based on the rest of your work. And just so you guys know, so you see that, like, it's not hacks that are signing up for Portfolio Lab, eh? It's not brand new photographers that are, like, figuring it out. Do you want to look at the work of Ian Martin? This is the photographer right now who is asking for my advice on his photography. Now, if your work is not as good as Ian Martin's, why are you not asking for feedback on your photography? Ask yourself that. This is Ian Martin, ladies and gentlemen. So, Ian, very proud of you. Thank you for submitting. And yes, you do need more. You do need more location photography. There's a couple things you can do here in order to make this shot have like a little bit more oomph. Number one is your perspective. Excuse me. You know that I need you to lower yourself so you see just a little bit more under the car, just a little bit less hood, just a little bit less roof. The angle at which you're hitting the car, perfect. The scene, perfect. The time of day, perfect. The light on the car, perfect, 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 perfect. The only ism that I have is how low you are. I want you to drop the tripod or drop your position like 2 feet. And based on all of the other, like, look at the impact when you hit a car lower. You know that. Like, for me, I definitely don't need to tell you how to hit an angle on a car because I know you know it. And if you look at this last photo of the week that you submitted to me, that one, look at how you're standing and look at how much lower you are. A majority of your work is shot quite low. So for me, the height, the angle at which you're hitting the car, I would love to see it a little lower. I noticed this. Can it still go in your book? Yes, of course it can still go in your book, but it's the one critique that I would give you, Ian, on an otherwise perfect picture. Perfect. Framed perfectly. I mean, I didn't even make any scribbles, Ian. Your framing here is perfect. Now, again, would drop the car a little lower in the frame, drop your position a little lower in the frame, and make it less about the road coming through the car and more. If you drop yourself lower, you push this a little bit more up here in the foreground, which gives you that like voyeur-ish kind of vibe and a depth of field thing that makes it even more predominant. And as you lower yourself, what's going to happen is the road's going to get narrower because you're going to see less of the perspective. So the road's going to start coming in this way, which is going to emphasize what's behind and what's in front and really isolate the car. So Ian, all of that to say, this is a banger. This is a banger. I want to show you what this looks like as an 8x10. And as an 8x10, this is what I mean when I would frame this like this. Like drop it really low in the frame and have a really big sky. But then notice that if you lowered yourself, now the road gets thinner, the horizon line of where those parking barriers, where these parking barriers are kind of coming into the car and where that lowers. And we drop this ends up coming down here and these parking barriers end up coming in here. And now this is what it's sitting on, this background, and this foreground starts to come up and becomes way more predominant. So that's my 2 cents in a bag of chips. I hope that brought you value. Does that help you? You at home who's never had your photos reviewed, never had a critique like this? You can see Ian is a top level photographer, but I'm helping Ian be even better. And even Ian, who I've never seen, he's a myth, a legend. Even Ian is at home taking this critique, and then he'll submit something to me on Tuesday that you'll see is a lower perspective. So I hope that brought you value. All right, that is Ian Martin. So,
do you like my face? You guys down? You seeing what I'm doing here? You seeing what I'm trying to do here? You feeling me?
A little bit? All right, let's get it on. Next is Courtney Turner. Courtney says, my submission for my niche on location is a shot taken over the weekend at an event. I asked the owner of the car if he wouldn't mind if he could take a few shots away from the crowd. Here's one of the set. Shot with the Z7, 35mm 1.8, ISO 800, f7, 1/100th of a second. This is shot overcast natural light. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is Courtney Turner. Courtney, this is a vibe. This is a vibe. I know it's a meet, and I know it's really tricky for you to get the kind of shot that you want, like, and have this car in the place that you want. What you did the last time you submitted, Courtney, was really clever. Like you went up and aimed down. In this situation where you don't have a lot of options as far as where the car is placed. There's lots of people around you. What I want to suggest to you is details. Now, Ian Martin is one of my car photographers, but another one of the shooters who is in the Carty method is Sean Thomas. Now, I want you to see how Sean Thomas uses details in his photography. So what he's able to do in a situation when the car is in the wrong place is he shoots details of the car. And what you're able to get then is these kinds of details. And you're able to get this kind of a detail. And you're able to get this. Now, in the beginning, when Sean first found me, that's all he was shooting. When he first found me, this is all he was shooting. And I had a very tough talk with him. And I explained to him in order to make himself a well-rounded car photographer, he had to shoot the whole car and not where it sat, but he had to move that car to a perfect location. So anytime that you're connecting with car owners, you're trying to share contact information so you can get that car in the perfect location, which is what Sean now did here. And you can see he's now mixing his details with cars in the perfect location. So now as well, adding interiors, adding other aspects of the car that you can actually now, looking at this portfolio, you now see a well-rounded portfolio that truly shows him as a car photographer. That the car needs to be in the right spot. And me even seeing a hint of the other bay with the car here and this railing and the door, like we have lots of different leading lines and things to like distract us from this car, right? So, and if you look at like an Audi R8 or R6, whichever one this is, like if you're now looking at images of this needs to be dropped on a background where, like, look at now this image, right? Where you're cutting out all distractions, right? Like, I want you to think of how you can now frame this car and show just the grille even. And then when you really start to look at this car, you see, okay, the carbon is kind of broken here. And it's like, you know, the fit on the hood, the fitment here versus over here is totally different. And like, understand, like, this is how I look at my car. And this is how I look at photography. I'm now like, the cars that you choose are then now the star. So I'm looking at like, this is just a guy's car that's done a bunch of mods. And yes, it's cool to appeal to him, but the offer is, let me hang out with you and photograph your car in the location of our choosing for a fee. And that's what Sean does. So when you look at this entire picture, you can see now, the wide angle, like how far back you are, the way that you're like, there's just a lot going on when really that's all I want to see. You need to use these meetups as a way to meet the owners, take a few flicks of their car, but when you're in a situation where the car's in the wrong spot, shoot details, because the details will make them go like, wow, oh my God, that's so great. I can't believe you got that here. And then what you say is, you know, I'd really love to shoot your whole car, but I can't do that here because it's not the right place. Would you like us to meet up another time with your car and do a full photo shoot? Like, that's how you use just the little bit of, give them a little value, and then you hook them on an opportunity to meet them later and do real stuff. You don't try to do the real stuff here. I hope that helps you. That, guys, is Courtney Turner. Courtney, Thanks for submitting. Appreciate you. I hope that brought you value, Courtney. And you can also notice with Portfolio Lab, it's not just a photo review. It's not what I'm doing here. I'm not just doing a photo review. I'm giving you so much more than just a photo review. I'm giving you a photo review and your next steps and your next step after that and your next step after that. That's what I'm doing here. This is why feedback is so important. It's so important. I don't know why people avoid it. Like, oh my God. I have to tell a story. When I did photography school, when I was 19 years old, like photography university, I started studying photography in school with an organized photography program from age 14. But when I was 19, I went to like university, the best photography school in the country, and I studied still photography. And we'd have critiques. And what I've done is I've structured these critiques to be a scaled down version of what my actual critiques were like in photography school. So let me give you an example. I shoot something that's okay, and we all have to shoot, print, and mat. Like we have to cut a custom mat around our photos or buy a mat, but we had to cut them. We had to learn how to cut the bezels on the piece of cardboard that you put over top of your photo, and we'd have to put them on the wall. So that was a critique. And if your picture wasn't on the wall when the teacher walked in, he didn't review it. Simple. It's like it has to be on the wall. If it wasn't straight, if your picture wasn't straight, he would take it off the wall and say, whose picture is this? And you'd go, and then he would fling it at you. And it was like, use a level, was what he would say. So if your picture was good, he would look and be like, uh-huh, and look at the next one and go, uh-huh. And he'd look at and if yours wasn't good, he'd take your picture off the wall. He'd take it out of the mat and he'd say, whose picture is this? He'd take the mat and he'd throw it away. He'd say, whose picture is this? That you just, by the way, paid $12 for. Whose picture is this? And you'd go, and he would go like this. You see this? You see this? You see this? What are we doing? He'd rip your print and then throw you two pieces. He said, try harder. Seriously, try harder. Whose pictures? And then just go on to the next person. Whose picture is this? And you're like looking at your photo pieces. Okay? So that was photography school in 1990 when I was in school. In 1990, when people weren't like, oh, you're so great. Oh, you're like, when people weren't babied and everybody didn't get a participation trophy, you know, when everybody didn't get a participation trophy. So, and then the other thing that hurts so much is that I knew that I was one of the best in the school, one of the best in the class for sure. So I would do something quick and I'd put it on the wall and it would be good compared to everybody else. Good. Okay. And he's like, whose picture is this? And I say, it's mine. And he's like, it's yours? And then he'd take it down and rip it and be like, do it again. And I'm like, dude. And everybody is like looking, being like, dude, it's one of the best pictures on the wall. And he's like, for you, this isn't an 11 for you. It's an 11 for him, but it's not 11 for you. I'm marking you against you. And this is not your best. Don't do his best. Do your best. Dude. So I came into the industry seeking feedback. And if a stylist was like who knew more than me was like, pose your girl, that like, I would just be like, tell her how to pose. Tell her how to pose. And then he would pose her and I'd be just like, ah. And after a while, I learned how to pose girls because I had to learn how to do that. And I also watched when he would pose girls, he would be like, he would do the pose. He'd be like the stylist, who's a guy, he would be like, Like, and then the model would try it and he's like, no, fix your arm. No, more, like, let your fingers go loose. Like, and it's like he would pose the girl and then the girl would pose. And I'm like, dude. So now that's what I do. And I've done it for 3.5 decades. Every pose, and the pose nowadays is the non-pose. That's the trend. So the goal is to teach your models how not to pose. How not to pose. You know? Like you're saying, Gunner's saying, it's tough because you have to learn so many poses. But like, the new pose is no pose. So what you have to do is you have to undo poses. You have to learn how to undo poses and how to position people in a way that is. And that new, and if you look at my portfolio, you'll see like I don't pose people. They're just there. You know what I mean? Because that's been the trend for like a really long time. You're not posing people, you're helping them get into their best self, which is a whole different thing. It's a mindset thing. So, yeah, it's a mindset thing. And again, like, this is stuff that's incredibly hard for me to teach. But if you're interested in me trying to teach that type of direction, that type of like breakdowns when I'm shooting a subject, I'd really be happy to try. All right, this is Stephen Bourdeau. Stephen, we allowed the horizontal image to pass because apparently this is a horizontal image. Yo, Sean Thomas, it's like I just said your name. Sean said, car meet. I'd love some private time with you in your car so I can really show you what's possible. Does that sound interesting? This is Sean Thomas telling you, Courtney, exactly what you should say. And by the way, welcome back, Sean. Sean's been a member for over a year. You see he doesn't have a crown next to his name. He has wings. And you also notice Sean Thomas from Autolux Imagery. You see what his work looks like after being with me for a year and having his work reviewed by me for a year. Like, why would you not want to do that? Like, literally. I should be getting email alerts that this person signed up for Portfolio Lab and this person signed up and this person. Like, you guys, if you're watching and not signed up for Portfolio Lab, there's 54 of you watching. Imagine I have 52 spots. So even if every one of you right now who's not like signed up, not everybody would get in. Like, that's what we're at right now. All right, this is Steve Bourdeau. Steve says this was shot in with natural light on a wooded trail. Looking back, it would have had her take her shoes off and go barefoot. I'll be more mindful to get both vertical and horizontal shots when the assignment or orientation isn't decided on yet. This one's on me. So here's the deal. Steve, who watches every show, and he watches Tuesday and Thursday, heard that I was shooting location. There was a location picture, but I hadn't stipulated the orientation. And then Thursday, when we posted, I stipulated this is a vertical assignment. So we're going to let this go by because this is a vertical assignment. Steve shot horizontal. So again, we're going to look at it because, again, Steve's super dedicated and I don't want to punish him for doing it so early. R6 Mark II, 70-200, 2.8, shot at 90. 1/200th of a second, 3.2 at ISO 1000. This is Steve Bourdeau. Steven, let's get it on. This is a yes, Steve. This is a yes. Barefoot, yes, but also these shoes are okay. This is very, very close. I mean, the edit, I like the way that she's doing the runway walk, meaning she's doing the step over. Like, this foot is stepped over top of this foot, which looks really great. Like, the way that her arms are, like, I would love to see her maybe just like holding her fingers as she's walking through, or like a little push through her hair as she's kind of walking through. Something that feels a little bit more natural than just her arms down straight. But Steve, that's the only thing that I have to say. Like, the light on her is great. The location is fantastic. This is a yes. Taylor, you happy? She's happy. Okay, look at this as a double page. Let me hide my funny face. Look at this as a double page. Steve, this is textbook, bro. Like, this is why we let this through. This is textbook. This is unequivocally, by the way, this is how you'd shoot a double page spread. This is a clinic on how you shoot a double page spread. I want you to watch this. He has something large and monochromatic to grab your attention on the right page, right? But his subject is lighter. So because your subject is lighter, you're going to her first. But this is where the article gets to go. Let's go, Dan Rowe. Dropping $4 for the crew. Let's get it on. Thank you for buying me a coffee today, Dan. It is Dan Rowe, right? Dan, thanks for your $4, man. Appreciate your super chat. Hey, to Carrie, welcome. Thanks for hanging out with us. Appreciate you for subscribing while I'm live. That's always fun. And guys, the thing that's dope about this whole live thing, if you say, hey, I want this hoodie, and you go to my shop and you like buy it, like boom, the whole world knows. It says right here, hey, you just bought a hoodie, blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? It's dope. So we got a whole bunch of stuff. The whole live thing, I'm really going to start dominating live as I'm trying to do already. And yes, Kevin, you're realizing Steinmetz is a hilarious dude. So notice that Steve is not composing on the thirds. If he was composing on the thirds, his subject, he would have dropped his subject right here, right? And then you see what happens when you do a double page spread is that now hugs the gutter too much. So because Steve watches me like a crazy person and has been submitting for almost a year, I don't even know how long it's been, Steve, that you've been with me. Steve, this is one of my favorite photos of you and from you, and an absolute killer execution. And the fact that you didn't look at this and say, I'm so fucking good. You said, you know what? I should have, maybe the shoes, maybe no shoes, maybe a barefoot would have been better. Like, you're still trying to make this better. And then you submitted it to me. So you can say, Carty, if it was you who shot, how would you make it better? Like, this is the feedback loop that you're seeking. This is what we're doing right here. It's that feedback loop, that constant feedback loop. And every week, if you're just watching at home and not getting the feedback for yourself, do this for me. Pick a pony. Pick, like, hey, you know what? I believe Steve. I believe in Steve. I believe this guy in 6 months from now, his work's gonna, like, just pick a pony. Seriously, we could be doing like a playoff pool right now with these photographers who are submitting. Like, let's see how fast this one's going to make it. Or I think this one's going to make it faster than this one. Like, it's fun. Seriously. Let's go, Van Cleef. Glad you're here, buddy. You're missing some great work. Latest from Steve Bordeaux. Let's get it on, Steve. Steve just got an 11 for that photo. All right, this is Nadine O'Connor. Nadine says, can't say I have a niche location, as semi-truck parking lots are my only choice, but I do have a niche. I do have niche time, and you love shooting in the dark. Shot with the Sony A6300 with a Viltrox 40mm 2.5, ISO 1600 at 2.5, 1/60th of a second, 40 millimeters. One light behind the cab in blue. One light behind the cab of the truck. Okay, this is Nadine O'Connor. Nadine. Okay, your light is really good here. The moment, Nadine, is really good here, but where we lost it is in the focus. And I haven't even zoomed in yet, but I can already tell that we kind of lost it in the focus. I know that you love night photography, but I got to tell you, the only way that you're going to be able to truly explore night photography the way that I know that you want to is if you upgrade your body. You have to upgrade your body. And Courtney's saying tripod. I'm saying the amount of digital noise that's happening in here goes beyond tripod. This is when you reach your camera's limit. Like, this is now you're shooting with an interchangeable interchangeable lens point and shoot. And it's not even the A6600 or whatever the end. I have a photographer, Anton, who's shooting with the A6600, and I'm trying to convince this guy to upgrade his camera like yesterday. If you want to take this seriously, Nadine, and you want to make photography that when you have an idea like this, which is such a strong idea, and you want to make sure that you can execute it perfectly and it renders and looks like it has the resolution that you imagine, you have to upgrade. It's simple. You have to upgrade. You're using a crop sensor. And you imagine, if you think of the different sensor sizes going from medium format, and a medium format sensor is roughly the size of this box that's around my camera, right? So imagine Hasselblad is 2¼ inches. So it's 2¼ inches this way, and it's 2¼ inches that way. So it's 2¼ square. Okay. Now 35 millimeters is 3.5 centimeters this way, and the size is about that. And then that is, say, a 35 millimeter sensor. Okay. Now your sensor, which is an APS-C, or like whatever you want to call them, APS-C or a crop sensor. What I want you to imagine is now you take that 3.5 centimeter sensor and now cut it in half like this, and then take this section and now turn that way, and that becomes your sensor size, which is roughly 1.6 by like point something. So now that's your sensor size. Okay. So imagine 2¼ which is digital Hasselblad, is over here. Full frame sensor, right? 3.5 centimeters, which is roughly, it's roughly not even 2 inches. It's like 1 and 1.6 or something inches. Oops. And then, APS-C, which is now like this big. And then you can imagine this is what you're trying to get on that small sensor. And then the iPhone, a GoPro, the sensor is only like, now take this in half and then take that. And then now that's your phone sensor. So your sensor is what records the image, and what's going to happen is you're going to get really good. So you said you have the brand new A9. It wasn't used. You have the Sony A7 IV, or is that what you're saying? So congrats on your new camera. Congrats. I can't wait till you reshoot now with the new camera. I'm so excited. I'm so excited for you. I'm so excited. You got an A9. So I'm imagining that's a Sony A9. Sony A9. Let's see what this looks like. All right. Alpha 9. Good shit. So Mark II, Mark III. That's a $9,000 body, girl. Which Mark? Which Mark? Did you get the original? Or which Mark? Mark 1, Mark 2, Mark 3. But congratulations. That's really good. This is going to change everything for you, Miss Nadine O'Connor. And Nadine, the light, the idea, the depth of field, like everything about this photo, you're hitting. everything about this photo. The only thing that's bothering me is this turn signal here. I would love you to come in and hit this a little bit more from that way. So we see a little bit of that truck and see a little bit of that truck. And then you have him in the middle. Okay, this is going to make a huge difference for you. I'm very proud of you. This is a great image, but again, because of the soft focus and the sensor size, I can't give you an 11. The composition, you're definitely onto something. I want you to try this idea again. Everything the same, just move yourself a little bit more this way. So we see both trucks and then have him sitting in there, and then perhaps some eye contact would be great. All right, try that again for me, Nadine. That's a great effort. Good shit. Nadine O'Connor with the new Sony Alpha 9, the original. Obviously, you bought a used one. That's smart money. Smart money. Good for you. This is Gerard Danso. Gerard says this is shot with the 5D Mark III with a 70 to 200 millimeter 2.8. F5 ISO 100, 1/250th of a second, and an AD 600. This is Gerard Danso. Gerard, I'm asking the one question. The one question is why? Why here? Of all the locations in Ghana, you chose a parking lot. For me, this is going backwards. You have him in an outfit that he wants to wear, which is a very much like in the city kind of big buildings, not a parking lot with a guy here waiting for you to move so he can take his, so you like, it just looks like it's just not the right image. And the way that this goes through his face here, and the rest, like, it's just, there's too many elements that are distracting. That's taking me away from him. Now, using the 8200 in order to compensate for this really high light, you can see that the sun is really quite high because of the raccoon eyes that are happening and the way that the light is shadowing on his forehead. You can see the sun is coming quite top down, and you're countering that by kicking in light, which I do appreciate. But the location that you're choosing to do this picture is not the right spot. Like, when you're using a location, I want you to think of how the background works with the picture. The background works with the picture. So if you're shooting on a location, the background has to be like a part of it. It has to make sense. Like, it has to make sense. And for me, like, the parking lot idea, and again, I've been doing a lot of stuff that's relatively busy, but you can see this background in the way that I lit him, like I pushed the background exposure down. So he's the focus. And there's nothing that's behind him that's distracting. This is leading line that is like pulling you all to the main focus, but you're not looking at what's behind him. Same in this situation. Although I'm lighting him artificially, and yes, there are stuff in the background, like I pushed it way down with exposure in order to feature him. So when we're using a location, the location has to make sense to the context of the photo. In every instance, in every time, the location has to make sense to the context of the photo. So whatever we're shooting, the location has to make sense. So in this instance, Gerard, you're so talented. You're so talented. But for me, this is not at all the right light, the right background to make this kind of a picture. Like, you have to try hard for this, bro. And I know that you are, but I feel like if we look at all your work, like, you also have to maintain your own style. We're missing very simple things like how close your feet are to the bottom of this frame. And of course, like, you're going to put this guy in front of the car, like center him in front of the car so this part looks like even. And then what car you're putting in front of Gerard is like dented and all beat up. So it's not the right shot. This is a situation that you submit this to community, you send it to the peer group, and Nick and Garan and a bunch of my team are like, Gerard, are you sure that this is the best edit from this shot? Are you sure this is the best edit from this shoot? Are you sure this is the best location choice for this submission? Use the peer group. This is why I have an incredibly strong community and an incredibly great team, is I'm training them to all be, very good at being the first line of defense as far as what is good enough for you and good and at your level. For me, this picture is not at your level. You've graduated past this level, so there's no reason why walking through a parking lot you should be thinking this is the place with a bunch of busted cars that I want to shoot my photo. Okay, I hope that helps you. That's Gerard Danso. Gerard, next week I want a win from you. I want wins on Tuesday and I want wins on Thursday, because the last couple of sessions, I don't know what's going on with you, but the way that you're delivering me these pictures are not. And again, the ideas that you're executing and shooting and sharing and showing to me are just not at your level. We need to, let's hustle up. All right. That's Gerard Danso. All right. This is Daniel Joseph. Daniel says, shot at the local arboretum, I don't know what that word is, with a new person who's just starting out. I had mine prior to shoot the type of Emily Soto. Okay. Your words are throwing me. When you're speaking of certain references, I don't know I don't know what an arboretum is. I don't know what that is. And I don't want to feel stupid, but just say in the forest, bro. Do you know what I mean? Just say in the forest, because when I look at the photo, it's just a girl in a forest. So don't say I went to the arboretum, because I don't know what that is. And again, it trips me up when I'm live and it makes me feel silly. So just say I went to a forest. Cool. And then I had in mind to shoot some Emily Soto ethereal nature-based shoot. We don't know the reference. So then that part also, we don't know the reference. So unless you're able to show us the reference, we don't know the reference. So just show me the work. Is it cool? Just show me the work, because, and be super literal with your explanation, because I need you to know I'm doing this live. So don't trip me up with words when it's really just a girl in a forest, Daniel, okay? All right, this is Daniel Joseph. Thanks for submitting. Okay, Daniel, I have some problems with this picture. First of all, the framing. You're not giving me your whole image, okay? You're pre-cropping to a 9x12, which I want to see how the whole shot exists. I want to see how the whole shot exists before you do this so I can help you, okay? Because we're shooting for a purpose. I need to know what the whole frame looks like. It's very important. Okay, second, the exposure and the shadow detail. What's happening in the shadows and what's happening with the exposure is really off. The exposure on her face is too white. And you can see once I start getting in here, how the focus starts to fall apart just a little bit. And again, I'm not sure if you've hyper cropped this image. I don't know if you've punched in, but I don't know all of those really important details that I need from you in order to give you a proper review, in order to help you get to the next level. Okay. Skin tone can't read this white. Okay. Skin tone can't read this white. This is over by 2/3 of a stop. Okay, so you can see here shadow detail. This is closer to what the skin should read like. But because you're shooting her in what we call mixed light, it's a high contrast situation. She's in this one little patch of light, which again is very pretty. But what that does for the shadow detail is it makes that so black, because the exposure up here, just to be extreme, imagine the exposure up here is like f11, but then the exposure down here is like now f2. So in order to, like, this is called mixed light. Like when you're shooting in mixed light, like that increases contrast, because contrast is the difference between the brightest thing in the scene and the darkest thing in the scene, like that difference. And when you hear cameras that have tonal range, well, the tonal range, that means that they can give you details in the shadows and hold details in the highlights. So how we help tonal range is by narrowing contrast and not putting our subjects in scenes that have such a great range, because that creates problems for you after. And the problems that it creates is processing, because now you have literally too much exposure up here and no exposure down here. So you can't bring that detail up, and it starts to look muddy as you push the overexposure down. It starts to look gray. So because of that, we know when we're shooting that we're trying to shoot not in mixed light. We're trying to shoot in shade, because shade is where the shadows are really gentle and everybody looks amazing in shade. You put your model in sun. So that, like, and again, it's hard sun. So it makes the shadows hard and it makes everything just really difficult to work with. I need to see the full shot. It's really important, Daniel, that I see the whole picture, that you send me the whole frame, so I can see if you're over cropping or how much you're pushing in. And then just the toe polish, like, was something that when you look at it at this level, it almost looks like the toe polish is retouched in, because it just looks odd, especially being white. But then when I go in and look at her toes, and like when I look at it, it looks like she painted her toes while she was walking. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's such a messy job. You can't get away with this. You just can't get away with this. And then also when I'm under here, it starts to look, and I'm actually sure of it, that you blackened underneath here, because I can see all of this is you blackening and darkening stuff, which again is a no-no, because it just, the difference between how dark this is and how white her tone, it just makes me notice her toenails. So yeah, for me, Lightroom, what you're doing in Photoshop, where you're placing your models, there's just like a whole bunch that are wrong with this shot. I do not think that it's good enough for your portfolio. I hope that helps you, Daniel. Joseph, don't be discouraged, keep shooting, but I want you to know that you're trying to be a pro. We are trying to be pro photographers. And again, I am a pro already, so I see everything. And you also have to see everything. If you look down at a girl's toes and her nail polish is busted, guess what? You don't show her feet in the photo. Because, like, if you just I'm just another photographer. By the way, I'm just your competition. I'm just your competition. I'm not your boss. I am not your client. I'm just your competition. But I want you to think of this. If I see this, what do you think your potential clients see when they look at your work? If I see this, and I'm just another photographer just like you, the only difference is I have 35 years experience. And even my clients say, he sees everything. This guy, Carty, he sees everything, which means my standards are the highest in the room. Because my standards are the highest in the room, I consistently get hired. So be obsessive, Daniel. Be obsessive. And like, I don't shoot anything without like telling the girl exactly what to bring. It's not really the right outfit for this kind of a location because you have hot spots that are going to happen where the white is, and the pattern might create the moire effect. Like, I just have a rule where I don't shoot patterns. If you look at my website, you'll be like, damn, he doesn't shoot patterns. Yeah, because whenever someone brings them, I'm just like, no, it's not going to work. It's not going to read. It's going to not read properly. I don't shoot a lot of white. I mean, sometimes I have to, but I don't shoot a lot of white because it blows out, especially when on location, it kind of blows out, so it's like, and if you're shooting white, you got to shoot in the shade. You can't shoot in mixed light. Like, all of these like little things that you have to know that experience teaches you. And if you don't have the experience yourself now, seek feedback so you can get experience from someone who does. All right. I hope that helps you, Daniel. Let's get into Romeo Fowler. Romeo says, upcoming R&B artist, Fujifilm X-T3 85mm 1.2 f2.2 shot at 1/250th of a second with strobe and natural light. This is Romeo Fowler. Romeo. So I definitely see what you're doing here. The light's cool. The way that you use the location is cool. I'm just not sure about the pose. You said this, up and coming R&B artist. Okay. Up and coming R&B singer. Okay. So he's up and coming. What does he look like? Is my question. What does he look like? Well, he looks like this. But no, he looks like this. Because you didn't do or fulfill with this picture the one thing that you need to do, which is create one thing for somebody that nobody knows. The one thing that nobody knows. Nobody knows him. So what you have to do is create brand identity. Brand identity. What brand identity are you creating by allowing somebody who nobody knows to have his hand over his face in your photo? So for me, in a situation like this is cool for his Instagram one time. But if he's trying to create a buzz around being an up-and-coming R&B singer, and yes, he really likes this tattoo on his hand, I got it, but like, you shoot a single picture like this, but the way that he's pressing on his face, like, he's pushing in on his cheek. He's pushing on his face. He's not just he's not even covering his eyes. He pushed, like, it's just, he's doing it in a weird way. So for me, it's like, this creates more questions than it does, like, give me the one thing which I want to know, which is, what does this guy look like? That's the one thing I want to know. So for me, as a photographer, if somebody wants you to shoot something, it's up to us to control all aspects. There's a comment from chat saying his shirt is distracting. Now, again, I'm not trying to pick on anybody's fashion style, and I know this is what he wanted to wear. But for me, when I do these photo shoots, I also act as a consultant. And I say this, what is the purpose of this shoot? I want people to know me. Do you want people to instantly recognize you when you see the photo? Yes. Okay, well, what we need to do is remove all distractions. Meaning, instead of this shirt, it's just a black t-shirt, which shapes his face and is a darker color than his skin tone. So we see him before we see his shirt. So that's the first thing. The next thing is, well, how you pose him. You pose him in such a way where you see him as the brand, confident. But if he wants to show that tattoo, have him do a shot where his hands are intertwined like this. You know what I mean? But you still see his face. So it's kind of, you get a little bit of mystery. He's kind of holding his cut, but you see the tattoo on his hands and you see the tattoos here because he's like this, but he's a brand. And as a photographer, it's our role whenever we shoot something to advise on styling and pose. That's our role. And anytime the subject wants to be like, oh, I want to try this, you can be like, okay. But then you know what? I don't even give them that shot because I don't want we're shooting for clients, yes. And we're trying to bring them value, yes. But also they don't know. So when they're like, and you're like, and if you're like, great, like now you have a bunch of pictures that you can't use because of this, because it's not showing the brand identity, which is what other people will use to hire you. So for me, even if this is for like, and again, Romeo, composed great. Yes. Cover composition. Absolutely. Yes. Works as an 8x10. Absolutely. But the shirt, I would not have let him wear that shirt in my photo shoot. Personally, I would have said no to the shirt. It's too distracting. It's too bright. And it takes away from you. Even if he brought a white t-shirt, I'd be like, nope, black, please. Because it makes I notice you first. The light that you did, Romeo, absolutely. Great light. The location that you placed him, the way that you have you left space here for you did all the things right, Romeo, but there's key pivotal things that you did wrong. Number one, hand over the face. And number two, you let him wear this shirt. I hope that helps you. That's Romeo Fowler. All right. I control everything, by the way. When I'm doing photo shoots, I control everything. Including, and most importantly, what my subject is wearing. It's the most important thing. It's my photo. So no, you're not wearing that. Change that. That doesn't fit you. All of this stuff I say, that it's bulging out here. It's not flattering. Don't wear that. That's what I say. So if you're not saying that, then what you shoot is what you get. And it's your fault because you don't have the confidence to use your voice. And again, this is why so many photographers fail, because you can't be a beta. You have to be an alpha in order to command the room, in order to command clients, in order to guide people. You have to be an alpha. And if you're not an alpha, which I wasn't, I had to learn that. I had to learn how to be A-type. And not, okay. And Romeo, I know you have mad confidence. I know that that's not the issue with you, but you have to have mad confidence in the right things. And you have to get amazing at choosing the right clothes. And you need to buy magazines, Romeo. You need to buy magazines because that's where ideas live. Seriously, you need to buy magazines. Your ideas get better when you have amazing inspiration to look at. And speaking of inspiration, I think this Sunday, we're going to do an inspiration episode because I think you guys need it. All right, guys, speaking of Thursdays, every Thursday, I do the Portfolio Lab weekly workshop. After this show, starting at 2:30, I am hanging out on Zoom. If you're inside the Portfolio Lab community, you get access to the link and you can ask me anything. We literally build businesses, come up with business models. It's so sick what's happening in these Zoom calls. Super easy to access. And it's think of it, $50 a month for 4 Zoom calls with me. As it is, the more that I think of that, the fact that I include that in Portfolio Lab plus 8 reviews per month for 50 is fucking insane. I should increase my prices. All right, Adam Lee, we're ready for you. Adam says, I specialize in environmental portraits and I love getting shots at the local skate park. Here's my daughter looking fresh to death in her Lilo and Stitch pants. Adam, we have a requirement for your image size. Your image was too small, okay? We need images to be 4,000 pixels wide. I want you to hear that. 4,000 pixels wide, which means in Lightroom, when you process it, don't just process it out at the default and then make it in the processing, process it out at 8,000 or at 4,000 pixels. There's demos, there's instructions, and all of that stuff is inside Portfolio Lab. I have a note here that your picture was not sized properly. I know you're a new member. It's your first submission, which is more than okay. But 4,000 pixels wide is the requirement, okay? In order for me to give you the deep review and really get deep detail on your photos, I need to see them big. So this is Z8 35 millimeter. Why is everybody with the Z or Nikon shoot with this 35 millimeter lens? It's crazy. 2.2, 4,000th of a second, ISO 100. Shot with the Westcott light. This is the new Adam Lee stepping up for a photo review. Adam, welcome. Adam, this is a vibe. This is a vibe. I definitely see what you're doing here, and it definitely has an editorial portrait feeling. I mean, I'm not sure if kids is your niche. I'm hoping that you're trying to be a lifestyle photographer, an editorial portrait lifestyle photographer. This is absolutely a yes. Compositionally strong. I want you to watch your edges. Watch here. Watch how close her toes are. The scooter is just a little close to the edge, but nice and low on the horizon line. You could have even come a little bit lower, so your horizon wasn't dropping straight through the center of the picture and dropping straight through her. I want you to think when you're shooting, if you lower yourself, the horizon line also lowers. So you can have this same picture, but not seeing so much inside the bowl. Oops. Not seeing so much inside the bowl, just lowering yourself just a little bit gives us just a bit of a better perspective. Again, watch how close you are. You lose 1/8 of an inch all the way when you go to print. If you're making an 8x10, or if this is going to go in a magazine, you also lose 1/8 of an inch. If you sent this to an art director that close to the edge of the frame, they're going to be pissed off. So I'm just saving you. Just give yourself a little bit more space. Other than that, my friend, this is unequivocally a yes. And next time you submit, again, 4,000 pixels wide. There's reasons for all my madness. Just showing you again what this looks like as an 8x10. This crops really nicely. This works. You get it. The light is good. The scene, the way that you made the background using strobe, just darken just a touch. Your light placement, spot on. This is good. This is good. This is great for your first submission. I'm giving you an 11 on this one. This is really good. This is really good. I'm looking forward to see how you progress. Mr. Adam Lee, looking forward to seeing how you progress, my guy. All right, this is Denise Tuggle. Denise, high expectations for you. Pictures from the backyard. Nikon D850, 50 millimeter, Nikon D850, 50 millimeter, and 5.6, ISO 100, 1/80th of a second in natural sunlight. This is Denise Tuggle. Denise, this is better, but the one thing that I continually say to you is I want you to get lower. I continually say this, and I say this, Denise, every single week. I say, this is your table, this is your bottles, and you are up here aiming down. And I say this every week. And I'm asking you to put your table and to put your bottles and to shoot this way, not this way, to shoot this way. I'm going to ask you that. I'm going to keep asking you that. I'm going to keep reminding you that every single week because you're not listening. When you aim down, it is impossible for you to have straight lines. So do you see how your lines are now not straight? And also, I now see too much of the table. Like the table can be, and I don't see enough of the product. I shouldn't be seeing the top of the cap. What you're doing is you're featuring the cap because you're not shooting it straight on. You're shooting it down like this. So therefore I see the cap instead of seeing the label, which the label is the most important thing. So, and then when we look at the bottle and I zoom in on the bottle and I see like this is not a product that you choose to practice on for product photography. You don't go to the store, pull out something and just like, look at how bad plastic looks when you photograph it, Denise. Like just take it in. How bad plastic looks when you photograph it. Have you ever noticed you'll never see plastic bottles look like this in advertising? Because they use a render. They do a render of the bottle because the actual bottle looks so shit. So now I want you to also notice how Pure Leaf here is in focus and then down here is not. And I'll ask you why. Well, again, it's because you're aiming down on the bottle, which means that this is not a flat plane. So here's the front of your bottle. If you aim down on it, this is in focus and this is not in focus because there's a difference in plane. If you aim this way at the bottle is flat. So this is all on the same plane. So everything here will be in focus. So Denise, when I tell you to hit the bottle straight on, there is an absolute reason for that. And the glass in the background with the depth of field that you're using is now going to be out of focus because it's behind. It's not on the same plane. So not only are you aiming down at the bottle, you have multiple different planes without using a 4x5 or a tilt shift lens, you cannot make focus like this happen. And then because you didn't lower yourself, now I see the grass, which cuts directly through your photo. And I shouldn't see anything except for this product, Denise. And all you need to do is lower yourself. And I've said it for 4 weeks in a row. So if next week you submit a photo and you're aiming top down on it, you understand I'm going to pull my hair out, right? I told you I'm going to pull my hair out if you do this again. Denise, you have to listen because this is for you. I know this stuff already. If you lower yourself, you eliminate this whole piece of green, which is distracting you from your product. And please do not grab a $2 product and think that you're going to make a $20,000 picture. Like, practice on beer. Practice on anything that's not like a plastic bottle. Like, this is what you need to do. You need to book some time with Garan because he's going to help you progress faster, okay? You're going to have to book some one-on-one time with him because I'm watching I'm telling you stuff and you're like, yes. And then the next week you go and then you do the same thing. And then I'm like, Denise. And then I tell you again and then you say yes. And then you go out the next week and you do the same thing. So Garan is one of my coaches. He's my operations manager and he is an insane product photographer. Garan Rath. So Garan is one of my coaches and I have helped Garan develop into the photographer that you see before you. So Denise, you need help with light, with placement, with styling, with idea, with so many different things related to product photography. It is incredibly difficult to do it one photo at a time. You need a lighting workshop. You need a workshop on this so you can see it done, so you know exactly what you need to do. Look at how far Garan has gone with product photography in 6 months. Okay? 6 months. Thinking product photography is easy is delusional. Okay? Delusional. Look at how far Garan takes this. So, Denise, he is one of my coaches. He is my product photography specialist. He will help you if you're willing to invest the time and money that it's going to take for Garan to help you. Because again, I can help you and I'm helping you, and I helped Garan, but understand his references and the way that he finds a reference and imitates it is like, it's way shorter from the original photo to his photo from where you are, which is a huge gap, which means you're missing some stuff. You need one-on-one help. Okay. All right. So, that was Miss Denise Tuggle with this image right here. Thanks, Denise, for submitting. All right. Denise, you have to keep pushing, girl. You have to keep pushing. Hey. In your business, my coaching programs are designed to meet you where you are and give you the guidance needed to move your needle forward. Whether you're looking for a focused 1-hour session to fix a specific challenge, or you need the type of ongoing support that 6 1-hour time slots would give you, I'm here to help you master the systems and build a career that you've been aiming for. By the way, if you book me for one of my ongoing coaching sessions, you pay for 5 sessions and you get 6. With over 34 years of professional experience, I guide you through the key aspects of creating a thriving photography business. Whether that's building a standout portfolio, or sharpening your brand, or even setting up systems that bring in clients consistently. First of all, I give you flexible coaching options. Choose a single 1-hour session to get some quick insights, or you can commit to 6 sessions for a full transformation. I can even walk you through my proven systems one-on-one. Whether you're looking to break into the industry or you're struggling to keep your business afloat, these sessions are personalized to focus on what will actually move the needle for you. You're going to get real-time expert guidance, and believe me, there is no one-size-fits-all advice. You're going to get actionable insights and hands-on support to address your unique challenges and unlock your full potential. You don't have to do this alone, eh? Let's work together to take your photography career to the next level. Whether that means finally going pro or creating a thriving, sustainable photography business. Visit thecartymethod.com/coaching to book your session today. Let's get to work. Are you ready? Are you ready for the next photographer? I definitely am. This is Eric Hernandez. Eric says, this is Caleb. He came to visit me last week and said he wanted some headshots done outdoors. I said, perfect. Shot with the R6, 50mm 1.8, ISO 320, 5.6 of a sec, or 5.6 f at 1/200th of a second, and natural light. This, ladies and gentlemen, is Eric Hernandez. Eric, thanks for submitting, Eric. I definitely, this is approachable. The location makes it feel snapshot-ish. Him across the table from you makes it feel a little bit too snapshot-ish. I feel like this amazing location that you're in, you look like, I'm not sure where you are, but part of, again, because I know you started as primarily a studio shooter, you don't have a lot of reps when it comes to shooting on location. And because you don't have a lot of reps as far as shooting on location, that's exactly what you need training with. And again, my suggestion, I have a video called Master Location Photography, or it's like I can't talk. It's a location photography lighting workshop. And also it really does show you how I shoot on location, go into my Making Photographs playlist, and you need to watch this video, because not only do you see how I use natural light outside, you're also going to see the way that I choose and use a location. This is another one where you can watch the way that I choose and use locations when I'm shooting a subject. Super, super important. I think you should definitely watch both of them. For me, what makes this feel like a snapshot is the location choice. Now, the light that you have on him, it's great light. I have no issues with the light. He looks friendly. He looks approachable, which that also check and check. Like, the only issue is you have to care enough to now find that light and get that expression from him in a way that doesn't feel like a snapshot, that doesn't feel like a picture that someone shoots on an iPhone. And for me, it's kind of what this feels like, Eric. And I know that you're so much better than that. Now I want you to think, how can I go on location and find a non-distracting background on location? And if you look at reference photos and ways that I shoot people and portraits on location and the pose, it just feels, it like, it's up to us to control that part too, the way that our subject is posing. So I want you to, again, really look at the way that I use locations and how nothing feels like a snapshot. Everything feels like a very deliberate photograph. And also understand, I shot this picture on location. This is a location photo. So this is a location picture that is completely non-distracting. So that's the part that you now need to lean in. Again, a non-distracting location picture. So for me, Eric, like, that's what you're locking in, how to find a location and shoot a person outside that doesn't look like a snapshot. And that has to do with where you're choosing to put them and what you're allowing them to do within your photo. All of this is super important. And for me here, it's like he's got the right outfit. He's super friendly. He's got a dope Apple Watch. Like, why shoot him in the same place that you're going to have a coffee? Like, to me, that's where, like, you got to find an insane spot. And that's why you walk around and find locations and shoot them with your phone. Because, oh my God, look at that background. Oh my God, look at that light. Oh my God, look at the way that, like, you shoot the locations with your phone, and you shoot it horizontal and you shoot it vertical. And then guess what? When you now open your Photos app and you go into something they call Map, it shows you all of your locations geotagged on a map. So if I want to look at all the shots that I did in Montreal, I can just scan here, and in fact, it shows me the exact spot where that studio that I shot in Montreal, and like, it shows you your whole life on a map. So use this also for finding locations, and also there's a timestamp, so you know what time of day that light was like that in that location. And then when you have your subject and you don't know where to shoot, you go to your location folder and be like, oh shit, there's a spot right around the corner. And then you go there and you make your photo. What you're doing is trying to figure out, when the person is there, where you're going to shoot. And you don't have enough reps shooting locations yet, Eric, to be able to do that. I do, but you don't have enough reps. Like, for me, I challenge myself to do that. But at the same point, if I find myself like just searching, or it's like I'll just default back to pictures from my location folder that I know work every single time, and I'll just use the location in a different way. So that's a little bit of coaching up for Eric. Eric's in my accelerator. Eric, next time will be better, my friend, but this particular edit is too snapshotty. I hope that helps you. All right. Eric Hernandez. This is David Holmes. David says, this is my student who has special needs that I tutor in his home. He has his figurines based on the characters from his stories. This was shot on location with 2 lights. This is David Holmes. David, let's get it on. Thanks for submitting, my guy. David, this is a very capable picture. I'm not sure what lens you shot this on, but the only issue that I have is the lines. And again, it's tricky when you're shooting a subject that's sitting back. Like, what I try to do is have people project forward. So imagine, rather than have him up like this with the book, have him lean forward and look, like have him lean on his legs and maybe hold the book, or have the book, or have the book on his lap. Like, so he's not so upright. I appreciate the fact that he wanted to include his figurines, but keeping them up there, like, I really wish that this picture cut here. And also because now it's just the books that are the focus, and then put the figurines on the shelves here. So you're like surrounding him with the figurines, and they're not up here. Because number one, when this is a cover, it's behind the masthead. You don't see it. Number two, when it's an 8x10, it also, like, it's too much headroom. It's one of those things, like, you're trying to include too many things in a picture. Again, for you, the most important thing in this photo is him. The most important thing in this photo is him. But we have him, like, I think the way that the room is styled, you're actually emphasizing the fact that he has special needs. Like, you're emphasizing that fact. If I just looked at him, I wouldn't know that. So for me, it's empowering to talk about the fact that he has special needs, but you could also shoot a portrait of him like a normal person without, like, this is me, this is my favorite book, these are my things. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, just shoot a portrait of him. And like that now you have a portrait of him that you don't know he has special needs until you tell the story, which means now special need people are just like everybody else. But the way that you styled it is he's a man-child, and he has toys and a child's book and a kid-like t-shirt. Do you know what I mean? So, like, I understand that that's him, and I understand that part, but part of our narrative and part of what we're trying to do as photographers is not just spoon back what people already think. Do you hear that? We're not trying to just spoon back what people already think. We're trying to expand minds. We're trying to make people think of something beyond themselves. This person in the picture. And in order to glorify him properly, you need to photograph him, just him, and do the exact opposite of this. Rather than thinking, let me include all the things that he likes in a single photo. Let me shoot this in such a way that is just him. And he's the story. I hope that brings you value. That is David Holmes. The light is okay, David. It's just, for me, the body language and really knowing how to position anybody, not just somebody with special needs, and in fact, more so with special needs, is photographing them just like everybody else, and not like, oh, go get your toys and like put on your favorite t-shirt and like that kind of thing. Like the way that their parents are treating them is like they're not a grown-up. Like they're always perpetually a kid. And how you show people with special needs respect is you treat them like equals. And how you would do that is by photographing him the same way you'd photograph everybody else. I hope that brings you value. That is David Holmes. And during that, Steve Gibson. Welcome, Steve. Been talking to you online. Been talking to you on the email. Welcome. Steve is doing the Carty method system on his own, phase by phase. Welcome. Thanks for paying attention to Portfolio Lab. It is a very critical part of this system. All right, Steve, welcome. That was David Holmes, everybody. This is Chris Foster. And by the way, Amand, thank you for being in the notes. I appreciate you and all the work that you do. Garan Rath, thank you to you also for prepping this show and doing my show notes. You are my ace in the hole. I appreciate you as well. Everybody, all my mods, all my cartel in chat, maintaining the vibes. I appreciate you. All right, Chris Foster. Chris Foster says, this is shot at Terramar Beach in the skateboarding capital of the world, Carlsbad, California. Shot with the R5 with a 28-70 at 70, 1/250 of a second at a 5. This is shot with one fill. And this is the mighty, talented Chris Foster. Chris, you just hit the mark, mister. You just hit the mark. You hit the mark with this image. The horizon line for me, it's just like the only thing is where you drop the horizon line. This for me, from last week, this is such a monumental jump. This is right out of the bat. This is an 11 for me and applause, okay? Right off the bat, because this is such a monumental jump for you, and I measure you against you. Second, shooting shoes on location is genius. I've been doing this. I don't show a lot of my kicks stuff because I don't want to trick people into thinking I'm a product photographer, which I'm not. But I do and have been hired by Jordan and Nike to do a lot of like shoes on location because it's an idea that I brought to the table. They like the creative, and it actually got me hired to do a bunch of stuff. So you are on the road. You are on the road here with something. You shot the right shoe. Although the chain makes this shoe just a little kitsch, I want you to be aiming more. Like this is a dunk, right? This is called a Nike dunk. I want you to be looking more for a classic silhouette of the dunk rather than like a remix or one of these kinds of versions, which always you'll find in the like bargain stores. But other than that, this is a really good image. Again, I want you to watch that horizon. And I want you to imagine if you push that horizon down so that water started like even lower, like that water started here. And again, it's just you lowering yourself just a little bit, like as if you're shooting this shoe the same way that you'd shoot a car. Now we have this shoe up against sky. So now the shoe exists up against sky, which is really aspirational. And then it's on a rock. Like really, you could have pushed the beach, the sand out of the picture altogether and just lowered yourself till they no longer appear. And it's just this shoe against the sky. Again, like the dunk is a really, I have a dunk in the showcase here. The dunk is a really good silhouette. The dunk is a really good silhouette, but again, I want you to be thinking more of not one of the ones that has a chain or something like that, just more, and again, it wouldn't be this color. I got this color because it matches my style, but more of a clean, without the bells and whistles, but you picked a good shoe. And by the way, yeah, this is called the Nike Dunk Low, which was the shoe that they built the Jordan brand on. Like Jordan 1s are dunks rebranded for Jordan, which they did with the very first shoe, which is why the dunk is very important, and 2, the Jordan 1 is very important because it's a dunk. the Jordan. That's a Jordan 1, which is the 40th year anniversary of this shoe this year. So this is a Jordan 1, and you can see it's a dunk, but they just rebranded it. That's all they did was just put the Air Jordan logo on it. But it's the same shoe. Chris Foster, you did well in this one, my guy. This makes me happy. This brings me value, and it's a level up for you. So for that, you get applause. For that, you get an 11. For that, you get the smoke. I want you to listen to everything that I said about the way that you're dropping your horizon line. And I want you to think of this image without this band, without this entire band right here, and just the rock and this background. And now I want you to visualize that. And then you're going to be like, oh, fuck yes. Now you even see the shoe even more. So that is your mission. For me, this location is a yes. Do it again. I want you to do it again. And I want you the next week that you submit, I want to see either this same shoe in this same spot. If you're going to do that, do me a favor and take this chain off of it. If you have another shoe, if you're returning this for another one, I want to see the same left shoe in the same thing, only with the horizon line and all those adjustments. So the viewers at home can see the difference between like how you tuned this picture up to be even crazier. Now, number one, I didn't say anything about your spacing. I didn't say anything about where you placed the shoe in the frame, because where you place the shoe in the frame is 100%. Your spacing is 100. Like, Chris, we are fucking turning you into a destroyer. You are so close. Just keep going. Just keep going. Just keep going. And then once we hit it, now we need to rinse and repeat so we can build a whole portfolio of ideas. Again, right now you'll excel faster if you do this just on location, but you also have to make a booking with Garan and myself so we can talk about studio and studio light and studio concepts so we can level up your inside artificial light stuff so it's going to be as good as what your location stuff is. This makes me happy. Very, very, very well done, Taylor. Yeah, she's happy. Good shit. All right. I wonder when the next breakup for Taylor is going to happen. She's definitely due for a new album soon, I'm sure. So she's got to break up with that dude and write an album about it. And then, you know, get another guy. This is Lamont DeSalle. Lamont says, this is from an on-location shoot with a young realtor from a session a few months ago. Let me know what I can do to improve on this image and if it can be used, maybe, for my book. Z6 50mm 1.8 ISO 100 f5 125 of the second. Shot with an 8600 Pro with a 65-inch umbrella, 65-centimeter umbrella, and then a second light with a strip box. This is Lamont DeSalle. Lamont, yes, you can use this for a realtor. The only issue is the body language. This is something that I want you to constantly be working on. Both feet need to be on the floor, and he needs to be projecting forward. Both feet on the floor. He is projecting forward like this. You know what I mean? Or he's leaning on one side. Or he's leaning on the other side, but not touching his face. But what he's doing is he has one leg across like this that he's holding onto, and then he has his arm across that he's holding onto like this. And he's turned that way. So the body language is your weak link. The body language. His foot turned out like shows how like it makes a shoe look big and it makes it look so starts with the way that he positions your foot. When you have men, they position their foot this way. You know what I mean? So their feet come this way, not out that way. So it's like starting from the feet, that's wrong. And then this leg crossover is wrong because again, it pushes knee forward and elbows, knees to camera. Look how sexy that looks. Look how sexy that looks. It's just never good. So elbows to camera, knees to camera, not a thing that we do. So body language. And then this arm coming across and holding onto this arm is so unnatural. And he's projecting that way, but you're here. So why is he not projecting to his, but then he's turning his head to you. So like the whole, like great shot, great placement, great light, didn't know how to pose him, didn't know how to position him. So he's not all like, and again, Lamont, that is on you. You are 100% responsible for posing this guy and positioning him because he doesn't know. He doesn't know. Next, this shirt against this background, not a thing. Yes or yes? Should this shirt not be black? Because the green on cream doesn't work. Green on cream? What? And then like the brown, yes. The shoes, yes. The black socks, yes. But then ankle socks with these shoes? That's not the shocks that you wear for these shoes. Again, it's Texas. Okay, it's a bit of a different style. But in this set, the only color shirt that works is black. It's the only color shirt that works because then it shapes him and you see him. Right now, I want you to see my t-shirt. Did you notice I changed? You guys tune in? It's getting hot in that hoodie. So yeah, the only thing you're seeing now is the t-shirt. So here, for me, again, Lamont, it's just the posing and the body language. That is your weak link because the set, the location, the light, yes to all of this stuff. And the way that it crops into down to 8x10, I mean, the way that his foot is on that carpet, for me, I would have wanted to, like, I would have pushed the whole scene back, or I would have pushed the rug, pulled the rug up so there's not a space where the floor is. So like that's like really fine tuning. You have to pull this carpet towards camera because there's not enough space for this chair to sit on it and leave his foot with his foot not be like, so there's just small things like that. But overall, Lamont, like it's so close, but where we're missing is the body language. And I know you said you shot this a few years ago. I hope you see all the things that I see, bro. And yeah, again, really close, but not quite there for me yet. I hope that helps you. That's Lamont DeSalle. We are getting in and zeroing in on our last two photos, guys. This is Joseph Baldwin. And by the way, today, if you're in Portfolio Lab, and you can join right now and actually still make this meeting, think of this. Meet with me on Zoom 4 times per month and 8 photo reviews per month. $47. Like, what? Like, the more I say that, I should just raise the price to $97. So it's a little bit closer to what market value is. But it's $47. Until, like, just, again, it doesn't matter to me whether you sign up. It definitely matters to you. So be one of those people who get the last 50 spots. Nothing would make me happier than me coming back Tuesday and being like, yo, there's 10 spots left. Because literally that's what it should be. But people don't seek feedback. That's why their work is average at best and they're not making any money. And then they end up quitting. And then it ends up, you know, it's like marriages end over people wanting to be a photographer, but then having too much pride to seek the right information that will actually get them to their goal. Like, how insane is that? Anyways, that's not you guys. You're here watching. All right, let's get into Joseph Baldwin. Joseph says, this is my submission. Joseph's on the cartel. He's part of the team. Joseph's been with me for over a year. I've been helping Joseph develop his work. Joseph shot with the EOS R 50mm, ISO 160, no, ISO 125, 1/60th of a second, 1/1/60th of a second, f7.1. Shot with the Godox 8200. open shade with a white bounce reflector, and the light's at 1/4 power. This is Joseph Baldwin. Joseph, this is a yes for me, bro. This is a yes. This is exactly what I asked for. And again, Joseph's been with me. As I said, he's one of my cartel members. He's like, Joseph gets it. He gets my system. He understands what it is that I'm trying to do here. And if you look at the work of Joseph Baldwin, I have his website saved because I'm showing Joseph's work all the time. Hey, it's Steinmetz. Let's go. When you see Joseph's work and see how fast this guy is progressing, it's pretty dope. And again, notice all of these photographers, they have a website. They have like a blog. They have like this is his first love. He started as a skate photographer, and I'm turning this guy into an editorial killer. This is Joseph Baldwin. So Joseph, so proud of you, bro. The work is really, it looks fantastic. You're really starting to get it. And there's so many of these photos that I reviewed, which is dope. I'm really looking forward to where this career goes for you, Mr. Baldwin. Let's get it on. So Joseph, this is right on point. Let's look at this as a cover. This really works. Like, it's super, like, this is just yes. Like, yes. Like, you're really starting to nail this outdoor strobe. Like Joseph, come on, look at that. The light, the exposure. I mean, he's wearing something that's going to give you the moire effect. You see here, as I make this picture smaller, his shirt, do you see how as I do this, like his shirt starts to get a little digital? That's the one thing. Like, look at the difference between how big you think his stripes are here versus here, versus you see how the fabric in here starts dancing. So that's called the moire effect. You see that? Anytime that you shoot stripes, up and down stripes, horizontal stripes, light line, dark line, side by side, it creates the moire effect. So, oops, shouldn't have saw that. Sorry. It creates the moire effect. And the thing about the moire effect is that there's nothing that you can do to get rid of that. So do you see how these stripes that you're seeing right there, that shirt, which at first glance is fine, but you can't shoot these types of fabrics because of what it looks like on a screen. Do you see what it does? So that is something that causes eyes to go weird and then people look away. So do me a favor, Joseph, be hyper vigilant when it comes to clothing selection, and make sure that you tell your subjects no stripes. This is absolutely an 11. The moire effect, this is what I'll call a lesson. You definitely moire affected this. Like, look at how big the stripes appear here. You see that at full size, and how the stripe sizes changes. Like, look at how weird that looks. So that is the moire effect. Make sure that you're not shooting fabrics that have up and down or horizontal vertical stripes. And it might appear gray, but when you look up close, you're like, oh shit, that might moire. And you take a picture back of your screen and you just like do this, like move the picture around a little bit, and then you see it and you're like, it's moiring. So that's why I always ask for solids, no pinstripes, even if they're really tiny. I hope that helps you, Joseph Baldwin. This is a really, really good image, bro. It's an 11. You can still use it. Just know that it's going to moire. By the way, there's nothing that you can do. There's no, well, what if I make it black and white? Still moire. It's just like, it's still. All right, and our last photo of the day is Liza Hyder. Liza, also in the Carty method, also part of the Carty cartel. I make the best of the people who just rise to the top. And understand, these people didn't start out at the best. They worked their ass off to get to where they are right now. Lauren says, this is Lauren. Liza says, this is Lauren, photographed at Space Needle Park, Seattle. Show off the D850 85mm lens, 1/200th of a second, 6.3 ISO 400, open shade and reflector. This is Liza Hyder. Liza, this is fire. F-I-R-E, fire. I am so incredibly proud of you and how hard that you've been working. This could be my photo. Like, this just says everything. Look at this as a cover. And by the way, you at home, do you see what I'm saying? Do you see the level of photographers that are submitting here? Like, this isn't a joke. Like, Liza, you impressed me here, girl. The skin tone, your focus, you really, really nailed this. It says everything. There's a slight little hair here. I'm not sure if that's a scar on her face or, yeah, it looks like it could be a little bit of a scar, which normally we leave because, we don't take away scars. We take away blemishes. The retouching is clean. Liza uses the same retoucher that I do. The clothing, everything, it matches tonally. Like, Liza, this is outstanding. I'm not going to just say this is good. This is outstanding. Like, unequivocally, like, I'm so happy. I'm so happy you're back. And again, just to show you the level of photographers that watch me, this is Liza Hyder. And you can see, like, this is the level of photographers that I'm attracting. This is the level of photographers that I'm attracting that are trying to make top level work. Liza Hyder, amazing photographer, incredible, great ideas. Look at the way that she understands formatting. Look at the way that she shoots for a double page. Look at the way that she's using brand. Look at the way that she understands skin, posing, light, idea, and her website. Industry standard. Guys, this is Liza Hyder, and just another one of my Portfolio Lab members. Liza, I'm so proud of you, and I'm so proud of you for your progress. Liza also shoots film. She shoots digital, but she's formerly a film shooter. So she still throws in Hasselblad images every once in a while because her, like me, has a Hasselblad. So, guys, Liza Hyder, and tell me this shouldn't inspire you. Liza, our last photo of the day, and unequivocally an 11 out of 10, girl. All right, we are going to quickly get through what I call the photos of the week. We're going to run through the photos of the week, and then I am going to give best in show. I'm going to tell you what next week's assignment is, and then I'm going to cut this so I can get ready for my Zoom call, which I'll see you guys on Zoom at 2:30. Okay, you guys ready for our photos of the week? Are you ready? Starting with first photo of the week. Ian Martin. Let's get on. Ian, photo of the week, buddy. Let's get it on. Congratulations, Ian. Very, very, very well done. Obviously, remember my critique, everything that I said, blah, blah, blah. Great job. That is Ian Martin. And by the way, if you're new seeing me, I'm Carty. You can look at my work at stevecarty.com, blah, 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 blah. You can go to cartymethod.com if you need some help getting yourself going with your photography business. And also Portfolio Lab is also at thecartymethod.com. All right, that is Ian Martin. Ian with a photo of the week. Our next photo of the week. Our next photo of the week goes to Steve Bordeaux. Steven, let's get it on. Photo of the week. Very, very, very well done, Steve. Like, Holy moly, bro. You brought me joy. Steve, I'm going to tell you, bro, you raised your bar this week, okay? And because you raised your bar, that means I now judge you based on this photo. And now you're not allowed to drop below that. I'm telling you, Steve, I'm going to be harder on you now because each time you reveal your potential to yourself, not just me, because I've seen your potential this whole fucking time. Now that you're revealing your potential to yourself, you have to use that as a ladder step and like keep going high. Like you can't now settle for a subpar idea now that you're generating ideas like this. All right. This is Stephen Bordeaux. Well done, Stephen. All right. Photos of the week. Photos of the week. Photos of the week. Photos of the week. Ooh, our next photo of the week. Nothing makes me happier than when I get a new shooter and they're pulling out photos of the week. And again, I don't play favorites. This isn't about me like stroking you. This is about me telling you the truth. So when I get a new shooter that wins photo of the week based on merit, it brings me joy. Okay? That's all. So this photo, let me make sure I don't fuck up the name because he's new. Ladies and gentlemen, first photo of the week, first submission, Adam Lee. Let's get it on. Congratulations, bro. Welcome. Again, make sure you nail the sizing, 4,000 pixels wide, but you can shoot. Very happy that you're here and you get it. You're an editorial shooter. I'm looking forward to seeing more subject matter that goes beyond your child. All right. That is Adam Lee. Congratulations, Adam. Who's next? Who's next for photos of the week? And again, I just... Oh, here we go. Here we go. This is a photo of the week. It's pretty easy. Ladies and gentlemen, photo of the week to Chris Foster. Chris, this is a level up. This is a level up. And again, I'm not hard or easy on you. I'm just true. That's it. I'm just real. And I'm real with you. You pay me to be real with you. This hits. I also gave you every tip to make the next time you go to this exact spot and reshoot this picture to make it better. I'm looking forward to seeing that one. This one holds up. Well done. That's a photo of the week. All right. Close. Next one. You might think that you know what the moire effect is, but until the moire effect affects you, it doesn't really lock in. Although the moire effect affected this photographer for this photo, it did not take away from the impact of the photo itself. This photographer, you know him as my social media manager, the guy who does my Carty Method magazine, runs so many of the things within this system, runs the Instagram. By the way, follow us on Instagram. Follow me and the Carty Method on Instagram. The Carty Method is your work, by the way, if you submit. Guys, this is Joseph Baldwin. Let's get it on. Joseph, that's a photo of the week, my guy. Really, really strong. Very proud of you. It hits, and it hits hard. And you deserve this one. I'm extra hard on you. You know that. I don't let you mail anything into me. If it hits, it hits. If it doesn't, this... you're on to something. I want you to gas up and do more of this. So we have a couple months of this type of work. Skaters, small business owners, all of them shot in this really stylized, easy, approachable way. Like I see it. Keep pushing. That, ladies and gentlemen, is Joseph Baldwin. And we have one last photo of the week. And this photographer, and again, the newest addition to the Carty cartel. We needed a female. We needed a female in the group that would represent the ladies out there that might be watching. We needed a female to show you ladies, the 10% of you that watch me that are female, that this is for everybody. This isn't just a boys club. This is This is a doing the right thing club and doing the work club. This is the doing the work club. And there's no female that I have that is doing the work more than Liza Hyder. Liza, congratulations, girl. This makes me so happy. I see that it's already in your portfolio, and I want you to notice it's already in Liza's book, and she just shot it. It's already on her portfolio. It's likely going to go on her social media if it isn't already there. She's constantly updating and putting new work out there. This is brand new. And looking back to this was the first shot that Liza ever submitted to Portfolio Lab. How far you've come, Liza, winning photos of the week, best in show with this shoot, winning with this shoot. This was the shoot that I introduced you to my retoucher, because that was the one thing that had to be unlocked with this photo. And Liza, you've really taken everything that I've taught you and turned it into something absolutely great. Ladies and gentlemen, our last and final photo of the week, Liza Hyder. All right, so we are getting right close to me having to do our Zoom call, but you probably want to know what, is there a best in show, he says. Is there a best in show? Is there a best in show? Yes, there's two. There's two. Ladies and gentlemen, your best in show, starting with Stephen Bourdeau. Best in show. It rhymes, brother. You better be getting them every week. Congratulations, Stephen Bourdeau. Best in show. And lastly, our last best in show, so you know, is Liza Hyder. Liza, this is a best in show, deservedly so, because you do the work, though. Thank you, Liza, for being here. Yo, appreciate you.
Yes, sir.
Liza. All right, guys. Now, I was going to do this next, Garan, but I think time is not going to allow it. It's all right. We'll do it next time. Do you guys want your next week's assignment? Let's get into next week's assignment. Week 16. Week 16 is your niche in black and white. The crowd goes wild. What? Black and white, okay? I need you to shoot in black and white. I want you to create a striking black and white image that showcases your niche and your signature style. The goal is to use the power of monochrome to highlight emotion, texture, storytelling, proving that your work stands out even without color. Okay? This is going to be a hard one. If your photography can captivate in black and white, you know that your vision and your technique are truly strong. Okay? This assignment challenges you to distill your niche to its purest visual elements. If there's distracting backgrounds, you are going to be horrified as to what distracting backgrounds look like in black and white. Okay? Distill down your niche to its purest visual elements using the timeless power of life before color photography to make your work unforgettable. Okay? This is a vertical assignment. It is due Wednesday, midnight, 4,000 pixels wide by 100 DPI. I'm expecting to see your best black and white. And again, shooting shit and making it black and white is not going to cut it. I want your best. Thanks for being here. Smart ones are going to meet me in Zoom in 15 minutes.
This live stream was brought to you by Pixpa, the best website builder for photographers and creatives, and Indie, the best way to run your freelance business, and by you, the members and subscribers of the Carty Method. Consider becoming a member for $5 a month to show your support for our content, and we'll reward you. You get members-only content every month, and Carty has the best emojis on YouTube, and you'll get that crown badge next to your name. If you're building a photography business, make sure you join Portfolio Lab. How ready are you to be a pro? Take the Carty Method Pro Photographer's Readiness Scorecard. You'll always find helpful links in the show notes. Sharing is caring. If this content has brought you value today, share it, clip it, post it to your socials. Curating and sharing helpful content makes you an expert. Even if the content you're sharing isn't yours, be a curator and share this content with your network. Find your creative and business genius with the Carty Method.
Every single person who becomes a member of this channel, I put their name in my end credits. So you might see your name scrolling across if you became a member within the last couple of days. Subscribers, I put my last 25 subscribers underneath there as well. Guys, I'm going to go hang out on Zoom. I'll be there in exactly 15 minutes. This is the coolest few hours of the week. I can't believe you're not in there. The Portfolio Lab. It's simple. thecartymethod.com/portfolio lab, or just go to thecartymethod.com and you'll see it right there on top.